Do you need a last minute idea of something that you can do with your kids from your dehydrator? Check out the ornaments we made from whole dried oranges, the orange slices. And hi folks, I'm Darcy from the Purposeful Pantry, where we talk about dehydrating and other ways of food preservation to stock our pantry. But at this time of year, it's about setting up our Christmas decorations. And I have some last minute ornament ideas that you can do with your kids or to give away as gifts.
Now we're going to start out with our oranges, limes, and lemons that we're going to make some little cute dried ornaments with. I'm using cuties, these little tiny mandarin satsumas. You might have something like that. And we're going to go from each end of the orange, but not going into the top, okay? We're just going to start just right below it and just run our knife right down the lemon. Yeah, sometimes it slips. It's no big deal. I'm going to take my lime and do the same thing. We're just going to cut right into it. And our lemons, the same way.
And if it makes it a little more stable for you, you can always try this method, which you just do on the top. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to open them up if possible. Some of these really denser ones are going to be hard to do because I already know they're going to be a problem. So I'm just opening them up a little bit to try to help a little bit of the air movement start as soon as I put them in. Now you can actually air dry these if you wanted to. And if I air dry any of these in our climate, probably what's going to happen is mold. But if you have a drier climate, you could do this with no problem. Hang them and you can get them to dry. But I'm going to go ahead and use a dehydrator. Pop these open and let's see what happens with them.
All right, we have our oranges, limes, and lemons in the dehydrator. I'm gonna guess, because we are testing this, is that the oranges are gonna do okay. The lemons are really big. They may not do as well. And because the limes are so dense, I'm not sure how it's gonna happen. I think that what I'm gonna do as I go through here, I will often open the machine up, squish them some more to try to help more of that moisture escape the fruit. I'm gonna run it at its highest temperature right there. And let's get started.
Okay, after 2 days, I let these stay in for a good 2.5 days because I wanted to make sure they were dry. And it still smells like lime. It does. It still smells like lime. Now, occasionally, I got a little close to the side, and when I pushed down on them, it was enough that it broke the bottom, but it really doesn't matter because when you hang these, you're not going to really see that. Oranges, just like that. Orange, just like that. Okay, the one that did not work out are the limes. Even though I laid them open as the best that I could. The problem with the limes is they had so much juice and they were much bigger that they would pool, and then all of that juice would stay on the bottom, and they were deforming, and they're still not, I mean, it's still squishy and dry, even though I turned them over quite a few times. This is more syrup than it is wet, but they still just didn't turn out. So you can see how it's still kind of goopy on the inside. So the lemons, not so much. Okay, so for your oranges, just like this one, I am taking a very large safety pin. This happens to be the safety pin of my grandmother. She had lots of things in her sewing cabinet that when I cleaned out her house, I kept for all sorts of reasons, but today one of them came in handy. So this is what I'm doing. I am just running it through the orange to get from one spot to the next, okay? Just like that, to make sure there's a good place for it to go. And I'm taking some baking twine. You can use jute, you can use whatever kind of twine that you would like to use. I'm gonna run it through the end right here, just like this. And then I'm going to run it through the orange, just like that. Pull it through. Oops. Pull one of the strings through, and then just tie it up. Just like so. And then you can adjust it to have it hang correctly. Make it work like that. Now, a tip for these, when you're drying them, you can dry them at a lower temperature. I started at 165, then lowered it to about 130, and then lowered it again to 125 to let them finish drying out. You can start at the lower temperature. No way, it's going to take a little longer to get through, but they will eventually dry and be perfect to hang in your tree. So let's do the next project. Now we're going to take some of those oranges that we dehydrated a few weeks ago in preparation for all of the Christmas goodies we're going to use them for. So the next one we're going to do is an orange slice ornament, just like this, okay? That's pretty. You can do this a number of ways. I'm going to take one of my oranges and I'm going to poke a hole with my knife and just give it a good opening. Most of the time you're not going to see that in the tree, but you want a good big opening. If you're doing this with your kids, you can always just take, again, pipe cleaner, wrap it around, Get it wrapped up really good and tight, and then make a hook out of it so they can just hook this up onto your limb, and you'll have that. And this is where you'll need some parent help. You can do a cool glue gun. Can we say that 5 times fast? You can use a cool glue gun and put a little glue right in the middle there, and then take a star anise. This is not a cheap thing. You can always use like plastic beads from the kids that you use. You can do that to decorate this with. I'm going to take that and pop it right into the middle of the orange. And you have a really pretty ornament that your kids can do. Okay, I am not a crafty person. My mama was a crafty person, and some of the stuff that I still have in my craft supplies are things left over when she was still doing crafts. What I have here is just some greenery that's on a wire that she had that I kept. I'm going to put a hook at the bottom of it. I'm going to just thread that through the hole. I'm going to take my glue gun, go ahead and glue on my star anise just like this, and then I've made my hook on the top. But look how pretty that is. That is so gorgeous. Now if you have little tiny beads that you use for crafting, you could also place a red one right here. If you wanted to do a cinnamon stick across the top of it, oh, let's do that one next. We'll do that. Okay, so here we go. This is tied, just ready to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a knot on this around the hook that I used to hang this on the tree. Then just again, my star anise right there. And these are only 1 season ornaments. These oranges aren't going to last until next year very well, so I'm not worried about that, that they're not going to last. They're just going to be really pretty for this season, and then I will save the cinnamon sticks for next year. Now, if you wanted to, you could even do this. Put one of these up on top of the orange, where it's not necessarily that it's going to be seen. And I'll use one of the ones that weren't full, but what it'll do is help. Let's see if we can get 2 to make it mostly a full one. Close enough. What that'll do is that it's still pretty hanging on the tree like this. Just like that. That actually looks better. My mom would love this. She would have loved doing this. All right, so it's just as easy as hanging it right here. You can adjust that string as much as you need to. Just hang it like that. And then like that. And if you want to see how to dehydrate oranges so that you can get these bright orange slices just like this, watch the video that's right here. And until I see you again next time, happy holidays and keep preserving.